Hey, what is up, everybody? It's me, Ivan Ramirez, con RevvED. And today I'm here again. I'm back with another RevvED UP episode. We are highlighting our Impacto Changemakers. So if this is your first time tuning in, we have a series where we highlight our Impacto Changemakers, which were awarded earlier in the year to honor the life and legacy of Cesar Chavez. So we have had several conversations. So go and check out the other videos. But today we have with us another change maker. So we are excited to start the conversation. We have had very intriguing conversations with other change makers in the realm of education, climate justice, politics. Today we talk with Moy Solorio. Let me bring him on screen. Welcome. How are you? How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm excited to be on the interview, and
Yeah,
hopefully I do as good of a job as Valeria did. I watched the the interview she had with Christy, and she killed it. So
yeah. I was also watching it right before this, just to kind of get an idea.
yeah,
But yeah, how was your day?
it was good. It was good. I usually have the same routine on a day-to-day basis. It starts fairly simple with a soccer practice with the kids at Rokoku Soccer Academy,
Yeah.
and then I make my way over to Matty Rhodes, where I'm the youth development coordinator, and then I end my day with another soccer practice that we do for Ryogoku Soccer Academy.
Well, I know a little bit about you. The community knows a little bit about you. You kind of told us some of what you do, but yeah, start us off. Where are you from? Tell us about your journey with education, with soccer, anything, anywhere you want to start, and then take us on the journey to where you are now at Ryogoku.
Yeah. Well, first of all, my name is, like as you mentioned, Hector Solorio. A lot of people call me Moy. I go by Moy. My parents call me Moy. It comes from Moises,
Yeah.
right? And so for short, they call me Moy. And born in Mexico, Aguascalientes, and I actually made a transition with my family when I was the age of 5. We made it to the States, along with my brother Absalom and my sister Miriam. We just made that decision as a family to come for a better opportunity, just as much as other immigrants do. Look for a better life in the States, which of course at the time I didn't understand why we were all of a sudden in a car driving to another country that I didn't know. Um, and I always have this image of my first encounter in the States in terms of a school. And so I was in I was in kindergarten when my first interaction with the language was quite. I was very scared. Um, my teacher told me she had asked us to get up out of our chair, right, if you were in the red table, right. But of course I didn't understand English, and so I was in the blue table and I got up, and I was just so confused, and I walked up and I just didn't really know what was going on. And honestly, I felt that the way that the teacher reacted was, she made me feel really bad. And so, because she did raise her voice, and I mean, I didn't understand at the time, but then of course that moment, not to say that it traumatized me, but it does kind of catch you off guard when you're 5 6 years old and you don't know the language. And
Yeah.
so I think at that moment, it really it really caught me off guard, and it taught me to adapt,
Mhm.
right. And I think that's what a lot of people like myself that come from a different country, and where language is such a it's a barrier, and adaptability plays a huge role in that, where I was forced to adapt. My parents didn't know the English, and so I couldn't go home and and practice the language with them, and so I had to really really quickly pick up the language.
Yeah.
um, I went to Davidson Elementary, then I transitioned over to North Cape Middle School, and like Valeria, I also went to Oak Park High School, and then I I graduated from Niagara University up in New York.
Yeah.
I was able to graduate with an accounting degree, and I ended up getting my master's as well. I
Mhm.
got an academic and athletic scholarship to participate in their Division 1 soccer program, and I think those experiences help shape you and value what what you're going through. And with education, it plays such a huge role in that, where I did take it for granted, right? I took there was at times where I take for granted my the education, um, that at the time you're very young and maybe naive, right, of what's going on in the world. But no, it is a big deal to be able to receive an education, and it's not to say that you have to go to college to receive to receive an education, right? But I think education in general can be very broad.
Mhm.
Um, I think that it's the premise of knowledge and of wisdom, and it helps shape the person that you are.
The, well, thank you for sharing those different stories. There's a lot to pull there. I want to go back because it is unfortunate that you had to go through that at 5 years old. I moved to the US at 15, so I can't even imagine being a 5 year old going through that in the classroom, and especially being treated like that from your teacher. And yeah, I think something that really highlights our Latino community is that we are able to adapt, especially our families, and when we move to a different country, that's a huge adaptation that we have to go through.
Yeah, it is, and it's one of those things that you start to process as you get older. Like, okay, my
Yeah.
parents came here, our parents came here from a different country, and they were able to learn the language,
Hmm.
get accustomed to the day to day life, and leave behind their families in Mexico, and all of a sudden being thrown here in this culture where in this society where you have to just keep moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now when you look back of what happened the last 15, 20 years, you take a step back and you're just amazed of the impact that your family has had in your personal life by granting that opportunity to you.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things where I don't comprehend yet, where you get to the point in life, because I've been very fortunate. I think that I've been very fortunate where I don't think I've ever had to do anything out of necessity. You know what I mean? So I think that our parents, out of necessity, they had to make the move.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but the sacrifices that our parents have made have allowed us to live this fortunate life. I think that I'm very fortunate along with my siblings. The stories that my parents share with me and with my siblings, it has nothing to do with what I'm living on a day-to-day life, and they don't say it in a way to recriminate against you or try to make you feel bad, but just to be aware.
Hmm. No, I remember when I realized that our parents moved countries to seek that American dream, but we're the ones leaving or getting the benefits for them making that sacrifice in moving countries. I
Yeah.
can't imagine moving out of this country and starting fresh
No,
in a different country.
leaving your family, your friends, and it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
I think that that's where we have to take advantage of the opportunities here in this different country, um, because they say it takes 3 generations, no, to
Mhm.
progress within society. But I think we've been able to make that jump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we haven't waited 3 generations. I think we've made that jump, and so the generations that are gonna follow me, they're only gonna be better off.
Hmm. Hmm. No, you're right. Another thing that you said, oh, college. So when you moved to the US, you lived here in Kansas City,
Hmm.
and
And
then you moved away to New York.
New York.
How was that experience being away from home or being away from the family?
No, honestly, it was terrible. The first 3 4 months, I'm such a mama's boy.
Yeah.
I am. I'm such a mama's boy that, um, funny enough, and I tell this story. I admit it now, right? A couple years later, because I know that day was really hard. So the first day I was taking my flight to Niagara. Um, I actually purposely tried to miss my flight to go. Yeah, my my mom and dad actually came down from they came down to my room and hey Moy, levántate, se te va a ir el avión, and but because I didn't want to go.
Yeah, yeah. So
But it's one of those things where I don't know, being first generation that goes to college and then into this new country and in a new way of life. Nobody, my parents couldn't prepare me for that.
mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And so they couldn't really prepare me for that because they hadn't lived that experience. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? And the whole process of even applying into college. I mean, my parents, they helped me with as much as they could,
Yeah.
but like I said, I was very fortunate enough to make good friends and make enough connections around the sport of soccer, um, to help me into that path, to guide me. Because it was one of those things where I just had to figure out with on my own and with my brother Absalom, because he then followed me the next year, so it was almost like a package deal that we went on.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, going back on that story of how it was, I mean, I remember that my first 3 to 4 months were really really hard on me. I wanted to go back, not really thinking how I was gonna do it or what was gonna happen next, but just my mindset was I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back, um, because of just how close you are as a family. You know, I think the Latino community, we're very close in that aspect, which is one of those things that I value very dearly is the community and family aspect that, our families are granting us, and that's what made it so hard. And at the time, my little sister Ana Isabel, she was just 5 months old, and so leaving her behind was
Mm.
wow.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was hard. It was hard for me, but then you get used to it, right? You get used to it, and then you mature because you're off on your own.
Mhm.
You're forced to make decisions, and those decisions then affect your day to day life. Whether you go to the left, whether you go to the right, they help shape who you are today. And I'm very grateful with the opportunity that I was granted by going up there, which I honestly recommend to everybody. You have to get out of your comfort zone and
Mhm.
and grow. I think that's the way growing happens is when you do leave your comfort zone and you experience different people, different environments, and you're really put to test with your values and your morals and what you're gonna hold strong to and how you're gonna hold strong to your mission.
Mhm. No, going away. I just got back from Mexico, but I like going away or taking short trips because yeah, it does give you a different frame or like a new download of information comes
It does, right?
to
Yeah,
you, and then you
yeah.
get a new uh, view of what's
Hmm.
around you. Uh, so yeah, so you liked it so much. You didn't want to go. You liked it so much that you even did a master's at the university.
Yeah. So in high school, I jumped ahead in a bit where I I went into college with 15 credits. So I had already, if you do the math, it was about half a semester that I was already ahead. And then as soon as I started to figure out how I could get my master's, I started taking classes in the summer. And so I actually graduated college in 3 years. And in my fourth year, I was able to get my master's. So then
Yeah.
I did my master's because there was a program, through the business administration
Hmm.
where I could kind of expedite my master's because of the classes that I had already taken in my undergrad. So I had met the requirements, and then I just needed to take. Uh, it was a year worth of classes to be able to receive my MBA.
Yeah, yeah. Well, congrats.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I was trying to hold off, but it's time to talk about soccer because I know that's what one of the things that you're passionate about. So
Yeah.
I guess it took me what 15 minutes. So you played Division One. You were also a coach of Ryogoku. I don't even know where to start because there's a lot of words that you've mentioned that I see. You mentioned education, you mentioned community, and I think where all of that comes together is Ryogoku, where you are right now. But take us from the beginning, from soccer, and then how you ended up at Ryogoku, and what has that meant to you?
Yeah. So I think because I mean it kind of relates to the question as to why I'm doing all this, right? Why am I invested so much in in youth development. I think it starts as early as being an older brother. So being an older brother has kind of helped me guide my day to day decisions and helping my little brothers and helping them understand what the experiences are that I've gone through, so that they have a more pleasantable experience. And so coaching my little brother Matthew from the time he was 7, 8 years old, taking him to practice and going with him, and then being invested in his development, and then helping my dad assisting him in practices that he would do, because he's been a huge advocate for the community through the uses of through the sport of soccer. So using those experiences, and then graduating college, and then getting my first my first job in accounting, and then realizing how much I disliked it. Which, even though I got a degree in it, I didn't enjoy doing accounting. And then you reflect for a couple of months, and you're like, what am I gonna do? Um, so then I come back to Kansas City, um, and through conversations with a lot of people that help guide you. And this is where I think that, with your circle, your inner circle becomes very important, because then they help guide you in a way that they know your potential, and they know where you can be. And so those experiences those experiences are the ones that take you to the next step of actually making the decision
Yeah.
of devoting yourself completely to your craft, right? And which is, I'm a as the label says, it says I'm a coach and educator.
Yeah.
I've been invested in the development of the kids that attend Ryogoku Soccer Academy, which it's a pilot program, and that's what we say in Spanish. Es un programa piloto. Piloto meaning it was the first year of its origin in 2021, and now we're moving into the second year, where we've only continued to evolve in a very positive way, including staff, including the kids, how much they've been able to grasp, because it is a high level of education, both through soccer and both through the school.
Tell us about Raigoku, though. For somebody out there that is not in Kansas City or doesn't know about Kansas City, if I'm a parent, what can I expect?
So Rokoku Soccer Academy, it's an educational institute. Okay, I know that there's a lot of people that like to think that sometimes it's a club or a soccer team, but it's far beyond just a soccer team and a club. We were able to provide an annual uh, calendar for youth development for these kids. And so we'd like to think a couple years down the road, um, and pace ourselves in a way that we know the potential to these kids, but we're gonna pace them in a way that we're gonna strategically put them in the environments that they have to be at the right time. Um, what do I mean by that? So, for example, our kids currently don't necessarily, let's say, play in a league. So, a lot of what they've been doing with soccer has been a lot of internal competition, where we've prioritized them understanding what the culture and what the methodology and what our principles are going to be in terms of soccer, before we really try to branch them off into other types of environments.
Mhm.
We want them first to be able to respect their environment first, respect their teammates, respect one another, so that then by the time we do present them with an external competition, that they're ready. They're ready to fully uh, focus into that environment that they get introduced to. The boys, it's very unique. It's very unique because they practice 2 times a day,
Mhm.
and they go to school in the middle part of the day, and not a lot of schools, not a lot of soccer programs are able to offer that. And speaking in regards to the school, it's not your traditional. classroom setting where you sit in a desk the whole day, or you're writing notes, or you're going from class to class. It's a very innovative program where your education is based on hands-on or life experiences that you would deal with on a day-to-day basis. um, to give you a quick example, one of the questions that has been brought up at the school is, how would you combat climate change?
Mhm.
And then they come up with their own solutions. Well, okay, how can we combat climate change? And the projects that they get put into are are in a way very innovative, where they have to think outside the box to come up with these solutions. To give you one quick example, right? Um, and in the soccer piece, yeah, it that's who I am. I'm the soccer guy, and so the soccer piece is ran by myself, by Francisco Murguia and Jesus Perez.
I can imagine that the kids come to school more energized with ganas de aprender, because that's their passion as well. Y a lo mejor menos problemas de disciplina. Uh,
Sí.
yeah, because though that's it. That's what I think. I don't know if that's true, but with what my experience, I mean, they're doing what they like. They're enjoying. They're in community. They have
Mhm.
a say in their education as well. So it's revolutionary. What
Correct. And yeah, in regards to why we do that soccer practice in the morning, I mean, it's statistically proven that when you start your day with a physical activity, it stimulates your mind in a way that allows you to be able to grasp more information.
Mhm.
Um, and that's been a huge emphasis for us. How can we get these kids to be sponges,
Yeah,
right? How can we get these kids to be sponges? Because we can teach all we want, but then are they going to learn? Are
yeah.
they actually learning? And so I like to think that what the educational piece that we're providing and the soccer piece that we're providing, they're aligning, because it is a lot of questioning, a lot of reflection, and it's a lot of self-learning that the kids are exhibiting on a day-to-day basis.
Hmm.
um, and timing too. Timing, we get a lot of time with them, and in order to make a change, you need time. um, these kids are not your typical kids that that are gonna just kind of accept everything that they're being told. They're gonna question you because of the way that the environment has conditioned them to think,
Hmm.
which I think is a very positive thing. Where I think the more questions you ask, the better off you are, because then that means that you're comprehending. And so, and I think that's one of the things that I, growing up, was very. I was kind of I don't want to say bashed upon, but I wasn't the questioning wasn't reinforced for me. I always thought it was bad to ask a question, but sometimes because your traditional school setting, they're on a curriculum and they're on a tight, you got to go, you got to move, you got to keep moving. You go from class to class to class. And so it doesn't always give you time as a teacher to ask these questions, to take the time to really, really understand what the kids are comprehending.
No, I love that aspect of the critical thinking. I know that you guys were also trying to solve or give haircuts to homeless people, or a food pantry. There was an idea about a food pantry as well.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
do you have a favorite memory with the students, with
A
the
favorite.
athletes, the Gokus? Because you guys are the Gokus. Yes.
Yeah. So March 23rd is my birthday, and we had a game that day. And we did a whole, of course, I did it strategically, right? I scheduled the game on my birthday because that's what I wanted to do on my birthday, was to spend it on the soccer field with the boys. And I, well, we did a whole preparation for them, like the whole day, right? We were leading up to the game. Before the game, we made them a lunch, or sorry, a dinner. The families were able to provide that dinner. And the whole game was, I mean, the whole day was just it was awesome, very emotional, very uh, insightful. The kids learned, and from a personal experience, I really enjoyed that day a lot, because it was what I wanted to do, and in a selfish way, I wanted to spend it on the soccer field, and and the boys, they enjoyed it as well.
Well, we also have a really good research team, and our research team found out that your Sporting KC is trying to recruit you to be a chef. That you're apparently you're a good, really good chef, and you're a really good cook. Is
Who
that
said
true?
that?
Brad told me.
Yeah, yeah. No, one of my homies, Daniel Shaloi, he plays on Sporting, and the other day he came over and we had a little dinner, and hey man, you want to be my chef? And so I really enjoy cooking, and so it's just one of those things that has kind of came natural to me. Um, and I've been very like stubborn in that way where I want to learn how to cook, and through my mom, I mean, everybody knows that Latina moms and grandmas, they don't mess around in the kitchen, and
Mm.
so since a little kid, I've always been in the kitchen, kind of like observing and watching what my mom's putting in the bowl and helping her out. And when I get to college, that's when I get put to test.
True,
Because
true.
mama ain't there and grandma ain't there, so you have to feed yourself. And I think
Yeah.
that's really really when I started to be a bit more passionate, I guess, in cooking. And so now I try to spend 2 to 3 hours a day into cooking because I have the time now to do it.
Mhm.
And I'm very mindful into what I'm putting into my body because as an educator and as somebody that is promoting just positive health and prosperity, you have to be very mindful of what you're consuming in your body so that you can also educate the kids that are following, or the kids that are going to want to play this sport, because as an athlete you have to be very mindful of what you're putting into your body.
Yeah.
Not that I do it every time. No, not that I did every time. But I try to eat as good as possible, and 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 try to cook like traditional Mexican food.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
I tried that too. On Monday, I made. I was just craving gorditas, so I made gorditas con
Oh, you made
picar.
them?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm
I
trying to
ha-
perfect
yeah,
the. the
I haven't made gorditas yet.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. You should try it.
yeah,
We have
yeah.
a comment. Erika Garcia, thank you, Moy, for sharing your story and being a leader in KC.
Gracias, Erika.
So,
Gracias, Erika.
with that, we can start to wrap up. Our last question has been what does it feel and what does it mean to be recognized as an impactful change maker among 24 other Latino leaders in Kansas City? What does that mean to you or to the community, to your students? How does it make you feel?
Yeah, it's a tough question because I don't really like the whole. I'm not a huge. I don't like to receive a lot of credit or like be put like online and stuff, but I'm very I'm appreciative, right? That people take the time to recognize you, to listen to your story, and so I think that's what I feel good about, right? Is being able to tell the story, uh, so that people are aware of how they can help Rogoku or how they can help this community, because we're trying to make a change in the inner city, and so there needs to be awareness that's raised with with what kids are going through in their day-to-day life. And so I think it feels good that I get to tell the story, and then hopefully one way or another somebody is motivated to bring back to this community that we're serving, and get the word out of what we're trying to do, and be able to create relationships and partners and create a network of people that are willing to support you and help support the kids especially.
Mhm. No, thank you. Thank you for all you're doing. You're a great mentor to the students, and that's what they need. They need to see you. They need to see passionate people caring for them. So I appreciate all you do for Ryogoku. So yeah, with that, I think we're at the end of the show. I have more questions, like who's your favorite soccer player? Are you
Cuauhtémoc
excited?
Blanco.
Oh,
Cuauhtémoc Blanco.
really? Okay, número 10. Okay.
He gave me his jersey when I was 10 years old when he played for Chicago Fire. Yeah, I was crying, dude. I was like, couldn't believe it.
10 years old, and you got the jersey, the
Yeah,
number 10 too?
number 10. And then the next year he actually signed it because then I met up with him at the Marriott.
You
I
like, hey,
Chicago Fire was staying at the Marriott, and my dad took me and he's like, "Hey, we're going."
and he signed it?
He signed it, dude. Yeah, I got the picture of everything when he took off his shirt and he gave it to me.
Whoa, dang.
Yeah, I used to be a crazy Cuauhtemoc Blanco fan.
Well, I'm glad I asked. Yeah, yeah. I remember growing up, he was big. He was the biggest.
Big
Yeah.
time, yeah, big time.
No. Well, thank you. Thank you for being with us. Community, make sure to tune in next week with our next Impacto Changemaker, or check out the other episodes on our YouTube channel. See you next time.
Bye.